welcome to my studio. Today I'm giving you another recycle project, and this is going to be for the 4th of July. We're going to use flag napkins, which you can find everywhere around the 4th of July, and one napkin can make up to 4 or more of our little jars, and they can be for candles, they can be for paperweights to hold the tablecloths down at the 4th of July, or you can put arrangements in them. That's all up to you, and we're going to decorate them different ways. But I use recyclable jars, and this is actually a baby food jar because I like the bigger one with the smaller ones, but you can use pickle jars, you can use spaghetti jars, any of the glass jars that you use for food in the house that you would normally throw away. Save all of those and we'll get started. When you're thinking about this little guy, we want to think about, do we want more of the flag to show on him or less? So this one I did less. So this one I'm actually going to do more of the flag and get more of it. So I'm kind of measuring it, and I want it to come right about to here before it starts to slant down. You can actually do it clear up to there. There's nothing wrong with that. That's going to be up to you how you want it to lay on the jar, because with the Mod Podge you can make it lay down pretty well. So we're going to get this cut here, the width we want, and then we're going to measure it. Now another thing to start thinking about is I'm going to go and my stripes will match up. Now if I had gone this other way, it would be the stars would match up, so it would be getting kind of wide with the star. So that's something to think about as well. So I am going to cut this a little bit bigger than what I need for the time being. I know it goes all the way around with plenty of room, and I'm going to use Mod Podge. I'm going to use matte. You can use gloss, you can use satin, whatever you want to use. With Mod Podge, you always roll it. You never shake it because that creates the bubbles. If you have a big bottle of it, that's great, and use that. If you don't, then I picked a little tiny one up at the Dollar Tree. A lot of the dollar stores have them. So that is up to you on what you can find or what you already have, because obviously $1 would be cheaper than getting a big jar of it unless you're going to use a lot of it. And I am using an old brush just to put it on with. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. You could even put it on with your sponge brush. So that is another option. So get that on. We don't want to take our time with that because we don't want that to actually dry real well. And I set my piece of paper on the bottom and I start to turn my jar. Let's get this part rubbed on right here, and then we'll rub that on. I'm going to cut this just a little bit more so it overlaps just a little bit, not too much. And we're going to Mod Podge that right there so we can get that closed up. Just make sure that your beginning and your end are kind of even. So now we got that, and we're going to go over it one more time. Now see how we're laying the top part down? It was sticking up a little bit because that's where the jar turns in, but we can just simply, by putting the Mod Podge on top of it, and sometimes you may need to go in underneath it and get that on top as well. Keep it off the rest of that. And we're going to completely coat this again. Make sure that our paper is all nice and coated really, really well. And if you have the bottom that did the same thing as the top, I'm going to do that again. Just bring those edges, tuck them down in. Now this seems to pucker up more than most of the stuff that I'm used to working with. I guess because it's a thinner paper, it's more of a napkin than a paper. So you're going to get these little pucker lines, and normally I could lay them really, really flat. You wouldn't see anything. Go with the flow. It's supposed to be a flag. It's waving. So it's not going to be straight. So don't worry about it being straight. Be careful when you're laying it. Right there, I started to lift it and kind of broke it a little bit. So be really careful with that. Other than that, that's about the only thing we have to be really careful. We should have one good coat on the outside, and then we're going to let that dry before you start your wire. So if you get into it, you won't hurt it at all. On these little jars, I kind of like the little handles. I think that's kind of what set them different than the others. So I, again, went to a dollar store. I found these at Dollar Tree. This is a floral wire, and it bends really, really easy. Of course, you're paying $1 for it. So that's up to you. If you want a handle on it, you don't have to do a handle on it. And then what I did is I simply wrapped it around, and I'm going to take this first one, and I'm going to put a little hook in it to get that first one all the way secured. So it will come over and it will hook onto that guy. And we're going to close him up all the way. And then we're going to start to think about how much of our other part we want. If your wire is smaller, you can put the beads on, but my wire is not real small, so I'm going to have to cut it and put some beads on. You don't have to put the beads on. I think it just adds an extra little sparkle to that. And as you'll be working, you can do that. And I don't want to tighten this up until I get this end over there. But we're going to just kind of go back and forth. We're going to twist some. We're going to do all kinds of fun things with this. And I've got wider beads with the holes that are big enough to go over the wire. And so now we're just going to come around, and you can even play with this once you get it on some more. So don't think that just because you have it bent that you can't come back and do something with it later or bend it a little bit differently. There's all kinds of things that you can do. You can twist it around things, but the nice thing is you can just do this with your fingers. And I probably should have put another one up there. And I want at least 3 beads on this. So if you could find some stars that were big enough, you could put them on, and I'll show you what I'm going to put on mine at the end here. So we've got this guy, and we've got his handle. So now we're going to bring this over here, and we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to bend that around so it's secured. Now we can go back and we can tighten this original one up. Now we'll play with our wire a little bit more and see however you want to do this. Now what I'm going to do is I found some stars. The first time I did it, I actually had stone beads, and I couldn't the holes weren't big enough, so I glued it on. But I actually found some little picks that have the stars on them, and I'm going to cut them, and I'm going to just simply glue those on right like that. And I just think it gives it that extra little sparkle, so that's kind of cute. Now there's a couple of things that we can do for the edge. Now I really liked this on the big jars, and this is just a garland, again, a trip to the dollar store, and you put it around. Isn't that really cute? Now on the first one I didn't do that because it took up all of the flag, but I've got the flag on this, and we're simply going to, I put a dab of hot glue on to keep this from sliding off again. I didn't warm up my glue gun though. And to hold it in place. So you can do that and just simply put that on. And then it's going to blow in the wind and things like that. And then I took my star garland and I cut some little pieces off of it to wrap around and make a little garland kind of wispy thing here. Make sure you've cut them long enough. We'll see how I did. And I'm just going to try to get these all on. And the nice thing about it, it covers all this up. So you don't see that, especially with a bigger jar, because you have room from where you did the Mod Podge flag to where it is there. So we're going to just put this around now. And I like to twist it off to the sides of where we put our beads, our handle, and just twist it around. Okay, now you can come in and you can twist this on anything that you want. You can twist it on a pencil, you can twist it on your finger, you can make more, you can make less. That is totally up to you. I do try to make sure that I have my ends tipped in just in case anybody got a little eye too close. That one was a little bit long. I normally wouldn't have them that long, but that's okay. That's why we work with it and just have fun with it. And it gives it that explosion. Isn't that cute? A real inexpensive, fun holiday item decoration. The one thing I would not do with these, if you use this type of stuff, make sure you are not using a real candle. I don't use a real candle anymore. You've got too many little battery operated ones that are really fun that you could put in there. But like I was saying, if you were doing a picnic outside, you could use these as weights on your table or anything like that. And I think once I get this all done and get our little star glued in up there, that is going to be even that much funner. So you could put your wire through the star there and wouldn't have to glue it as well. So there's all kinds of fun things you could do with it. Look for different types of napkins and all different items. And now I've got these all kind of at different stages with the flag too, which I think is really fun. And I've done all three of these, I believe, with just one napkin. So it goes a long, long ways. So make sure you look for our other 4th of July videos. We're going to be doing the burlap 4th of July candle as well as some other fun activities. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube so that we can continue to bring you more. God bless.